Hi, comic book fans, and welcome to suddenlycomics.com. It's a Monday night. It is the price variance, and I'm here with everybody's favorite Canadian, Alan, the comic collector geek. It wasn't me that made him cry, it was his contact lenses. And we're playing a little game this week. Okay, so this on my channel, I'm going to list 10 villains, 10 comic villains, and Alan has to rank them between 1 and 10. He can only use each slot once, yeah, and he gets two opportunities to swap out. So if I give him somebody and he doesn't like them, he's allowed to swap them for one of his own villains. Okay, so but he can only do that twice. So he has to be a bit careful, and he can only fill each position once. So if you put somebody in number one with the first character, he can't use position one again, even if he would like to. So we did this over on Alan's channel, and Alan gave me a list of superheroes. And unfortunately, two of my favorite superheroes, Scooby-Doo and Swamp Thing, didn't make the list, which if I was doing my real list, they would have done. Okay. But them's the breaks. I did get my top five, so I was okay.
That's pretty good,
Right.
yeah.
Alan, are you ready to go?
Sure.
Okay. I am going to start off with Adolf Hitler.
Oh, he's a he's a favorite of mine. I'll put him at number 5.
Okay.
I actually do like collecting Adolf Hitler covers.
Yeah.
He is a great villain,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
He is a great villain. I like, covers where he's getting punched in the face or something silly is happening to him.
And
I think it's
he's in
awesome.
comics quite a lot, especially around the Second World War.
Especially my the stuff that I collect, the Golden Age. It's yeah, so definitely he should be on the list. I
Yes,
never even thought about
a
him.
real life villain becomes a comic villain with Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, yeah. No, I actually love the propaganda covers. I think they're awesome.
Okay, so I'm going slightly left field here. I've got a feeling
Mhm.
I've got a feeling this might be a swap out for you. I'm going Dick
Okay.
Dastardly.
Yeah, let's swap him out. Because like
Okay.
I wouldn't even put I know the character, but no, I wouldn't have put him on my list.
Okay. I don't know.
Um, but I have to think of a character that would be
Think of
hmm,
one I'm not likely to have given you that you actually.
that's my thought. I mean, you haven't really given me much to go with. Um,
Well, if I
hmm,
was you, if you've got a Golden Age one, pick a Golden Age one because I've not got many Golden Age villains in
okay,
here.
I got one. I got a good one. I'll
Who's it?
put this one at number 10, Iron Jaw.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good character. It kind of goes with the Hitler one. So
Yeah.
Iron Jaw is a character that was like a a Nazi who basically gave Crime Buster real trouble. And he's a cool character. He's got the iron
Oh,
jaw.
yes. I remember. He's a crime buster villain. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, Loki.
Oh, I actually really like Loki.
Hmm.
Uh, I would say number 3 on my
Oh,
list.
okay. That's
I
good.
really like Loki. Um,
Right. Next up, Bane.
oof. um, I'd put Bane around 9.
Okay. Next up, Thanos.
I actually really like Thanos too. I'll put him number 4.
Oh, okay. Thanos does well.
Hmm. So we have 3, 4, 5 done. So that's interesting.
Three,
Okay.
four, five, 9, and 10 done. And you've got 5 left to go. I've got some pretty big villains coming up.
Okay.
Magneto.
Hmm. Number 2.
Ooh, okay. Joker.
Number 1.
Okay.
That actually would be my number 1 villain.
Yeah, he's probably my number. I've got another character, probably. So you've got 3 left to go.
Hmm.
You've done one, two, three, four, five. So you've got 6, 7, and 8 left. Okay.
Okay,
Dark
6,
Seed.
7, 8.
Dark Seed or Dark Side.
Dark Side. Nobody says Darkseid. Oh my goodness. So yeah, number
Dude,
7.
I get comments every time I do this.
Because people that's how it's spelled, but they, when they actually know the character, they correct themselves and slap themselves for saying the wrong thing. So yeah.
You do have a swap out, by the way, left.
No, I put him, I like Darkseid. I put him at number 7.
Number 7. Okay.
So I have 6, 7, 8, right?
Yeah, so you've got 2 left. You got 6 and 8 left.
Okay,
Okay, so Kingpin.
8.
Okay. And finally, Doom, Doctor Doom.
I would have put him much higher. Number 6, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I like Doctor Doom a lot.
Yeah,
I was
I do.
actually expecting you to say like Red Skull or one of those ones.
Well, the two I thought of, which
Or
who
Green Goblin
was
would be another
Green
one.
Goblin wasn't on the list, and I quite like Green Goblin.
Me too.
Mr. Mind wasn't on the list. I did think.
See, I would have put Mr. Mind on my list.
Yeah, I know you
I
would.
really like him. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like Mr. Mind.
I like the fact I like kind of these characters that if it wasn't for their special ability of being super awesome, uh like they can the Mr. Mind is just like a little caterpillar dude. It's like so awesome that he he's like the most powerful villain that Captain Marvel went against. It's really cool. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's some great villains, not on
Yeah.
here. Anyway,
No, I really like them.
let's recap Alan's top.
Okay.
So in position 1, and he would have had this in position 1 if he'd done his own
Mhm.
list, is Joker. I would have I have Joker and Doom as my favorite 2 villains. I can never quite
Mhm.
decide which is 1 and which is 2.
Mhm.
In your second place, you had Magneto.
Yeah, I really like Magneto too. I feel like the movies kind of solidified him as one of my favorite villains
Yeah,
because I really like the way he was
he's a
portrayed in the
flawed.
movies.
I like the flawed character. The characters who've got
Yeah.
okay, their motivation isn't evil. He wants to be good, doesn't he? He's not. He's not out.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think that's actually a more scary villain is the
Yeah.
one that you could almost sympathize with.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
mean,
bit like
there's
Doom as well, which is why I like Doom. He's
yeah, yeah.
right. In third place was Loki. Okay, which I thought was
I really like Loki actually. I would have put him on my like top 3, like maybe top 5. Yeah.
yeah, Loki.
Doctor Doom and Loki are I kind of like Loki more than Doctor Doom. I would put
Okay.
it would have been like for me like Joker. I'm not sure. Would you consider Catwoman a villain? She started out as villain.
Oh, I'm not sure. She's one of those that's
Well, I
very.
mean, so is Magneto. So is like some
Yeah,
of
I
these other
mean,
ones.
but Catwoman, I think for me she's more superhero than a supervillain.
Yeah, so it's like one of those anti-hero ones.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
hard to.
That's
It's
why
like hardly.
Namor isn't on this list because I don't really see him as a villain either.
And ones like Poison Ivy would be another one, right?
Yeah.
Like I like those. Like I like female characters in general.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Loki at 3, Thanos at 4. I was quite surprised how high up you put Thanos, but he's
I
quite
really like Thanos. Yeah, another sympathetic villain. He's less sympathetic in the comics, actually.
yeah, he was good
Yeah,
on that. He played really well in the movies.
yeah. They gave him a better reasoning than the comics did. The comics were just it's a love story with him and death.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I actually like
yeah,
Thanos.
good positioning, I think. Hitler at 5, which I thought was good.
Yeah,
He's
I wouldn't have actually had him on my list, but now that you mentioned him as a character, and he actually is a pretty major character in
he's in a
terms of
lot of
comics. Actually,
comics. He's in
he's
a
in a lot of comics. Yeah, uh, and he's one that I actually actively collect. So from now on, he will be on my list. So it's kind of interesting that you've actually altered my top 10 list.
There we go. Doom at 6. I think you'd have had him higher if you were doing your own list.
Yeah, I think maybe number 4 or 3.
Yeah. Uh, Dark Side at 7.
Yeah, I mean, Darkseid's pretty awesome though.
Yeah, and I think we could see him being a big baddie in the DCU.
Yeah, I mean, he
He's
is
the
like, well, he
DC,
is Thanos. He is Thanos.
he's the DC Thanos, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he is pretty awesome. So yeah, other characters that I would have thought you would have had would be like Lex Luthor or Red Skull.
Yeah, well, Red Skull and Hitler and
I
I
know they're all very similar, right?
yeah.
I actually like Red Skull a lot. He would have been high on
I
my
think he's a
list.
good I think he's a good villain as well. And I think I mean,
Yeah.
what's not to like about a character who's called Red Skull, whose appearance is a red skull, you know.
He lived up to his name. Come on. Um, and he becomes kind of godlike in some of the comics. So he's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but you didn't choose him on your swap out. So when you did you swap
Well,
out?
I didn't. I didn't. I thought you were gonna.
You thought
I
I
was
might have
waiting.
you thought
Yeah. So
I might have Red Skull anyway. Yeah, okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Number 8, you had Kingpin. I like Kingpin.
yeah.
Uh,
Kingpin's cool. Yeah. I
um,
would have probably swapped him out for Red Skull if I was gonna swap.
if you would, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 9, Bane. Bane is a very significant Batman baddie.
So for me, Bane, the reason I chose to leave him on the
Yeah,
list, is I when I first got into actually reading the comics that were non-Disney comics, it was that Bane storyline in the 90s that I really liked. I really liked that whole breaking the Batman's back and then Batman recovering and kind of building himself up and
yeah,
then,
yeah,
rematch and bit of a Rocky story, you know what I mean? Like Rocky
yeah.
the fighter story. Um, so I really liked Bane. I got really into that whole rabbit hole of Bane stuff.
Yeah, so I'm always in this struggling so my favorite Batman villain is Joker. Um,
Yeah, yeah, me too.
when it comes to who's my second favorite one, I've sort of got a whole bunch of them, Ra's al Ghul, Bane, Two-Face,
Penguin.
Scarecrow, I think probably are my contenders.
So I like Penguin a lot.
I know you like, yes, Penguin for me is not quite
He's quite cool to me. I like the goofy aspect, and there's like a bunch of things. I like the Riddler too.
yeah, the Riddler's
I mean,
good.
I was a big fan of this TV series, right?
The
So
1966 one, yeah.
yeah, and they were kind of main characters, especially the Riddler. I really like that whole, they'd get this really like doesn't make any sense riddle, and it's like they'll figure, oh, this means exactly like and they'll be like right to the dot
Yeah, they're
of
going to
like,
arrive at the town hall with the laughing
yeah,
gas at 11.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how did you figure that out? Um, so yeah, I always liked the Riddler. I thought he was cool.
And finally, we had Iron Jaw at number 10. I'm not sure he'd been on my list, but
No, he wouldn't have been on my list. But actually, it's funny. I kind of was like last month, I was buying all these Iron Jaw covers. I actually really like his covers. They're sort of goofy and they're quite fun actually. I kind of like Iron Jaw. So I've been sort of going down this rabbit hole of Jaw things. I got his first appearance. I got his first death. He dies.
okay.
He actually
Right.
kills him. And then I get his resurrection. They always bring them back. So I've been collecting all these Iron Jaw things because I think he's just such a cool character. He reminds me of Jaws. Not like in the James
The
Bond
James
movie.
Bond movie with the metal teeth. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So same idea, So I really like that character. I mean, Moonraker was like my favorite James Bond movie.
Yeah.
So I really like that at the end of Moonraker, Iron is our Jaws basically falls in love with this kind of nerdy girl. I
Yeah.
thought she was kind of cute. I kind of like nerdy girls. So yeah, I married a chemical engineer. What do you expect? So it's like it was pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah, and I apologize for the lack of Spidey villains, but you know me and Spidey. So no Green
Yeah.
Goblin. I did think about
So
it.
Green Goblin would have
I
been
actually prefer Green Goblin to Spider-Man, but
he would have
you
been
know,
high on my list. Green
yeah,
Goblin.
Yeah, and the other Spidey villains who I do like are Juggernaut and Rhino.
I
Um,
like Juggernaut too, actually. I
yeah.
don't know. Like, I don't know. I almost feel like I should make my top 10 list because I don't really know what it would be. Because like a few of them, like Juggernaut is a character I really like because he's kind of cool in his own weird way.
Oh, and he goes off and
And
gets cosmic powers at some stage, doesn't he? So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. He gets the he gets that he has that thing that basically gives him the power to be the Juggernaut. Um, and he is related to Professor Xavier. He's the brother, right? So yeah, it's kind of cool
I
character.
can't believe you.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch, and there's a bunch that from the Golden Age that I kind of like too. So I don't know. It'd be a hard list to make.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
but you've kind of made it for me, so that's always
There
good.
we go. Right. So I hope you've enjoyed this little game that we've played here with superheroes and villains. We will see you next week. That's your lot.